Cancel culture is hot right now, as Donald Trump would say on the right, and they want everyone to know that you can either have their politically correct opinions or that's it for you. You don't get to exist anymore, you don't get to have a job, you don't get to have a business. In whatever way that they can destroy your life, they will if you say something they consider politically incorrect. And it's not just Trump, and it's not just Fox News. Governors are doing it. Greg Abbott tweeted out about this one individual woman who I guess posted something on social media that they don't like and is now being dragged off of her campus, and says this is what happened to the person who was mocking Charlie Kirk's assassination at Texas Tech. FAFO. Yeah, you random woman that Greg Abbott's never heard of before and will never think about again. You should have thought twice before you expressed an unpopular or maybe even gross opinion online. Again, there are people posting things on Twitter and Instagram, Blue Sky, not a lot of them, but some that I think are I would never post anything like that. But the idea that if you post that, and if like dear leader doesn't like it, that's it for you, you don't get to have an education. I shouldn't need to tell you how fundamentally wrong that is. The right has pretended to think that's wrong for years, and yet they are jumping in it right now. Over in Florida, DeSantis, they're targeting teachers and other officials who said things that they didn't like again after the murder of Charlie Kirk. And depending on who you talk to, they've gotten 30 people fired, hundreds of people, thousands of people fired. Again, they're all claiming, Laura Loomer's claiming she's gotten every single liberal in the country fired or whatever. And so whatever it is, it's a lot of people. And the vast majority of them are not well connected. They're not the elites. I mean, Matthew Dowd, I guess, was on the news. There was a Washington Post columnist who was fired for quoting Charlie Kirk, again, which you're not allowed to do. We're supposed to honor everything he said unless it would reflect poorly, I guess. Again, none of this makes any sense. Cancel culture rarely does, but that's what they're doing here. And all of them are pushing for it. Now, bear in mind, at the same time, the hypocrisy, because Laura Loomer, who right now is making calls to get random people who work at bowling alleys fired or whatever, she spent the weeks leading up to Charlie Kirk's death calling him a fascist and a traitor to Donald Trump, a backstabber, okay? And also in terms of posting violent and grotesque things, Laura Loomer has not only done what almost every right-winger has done, which is like mock the death of George Floyd and all of that. Laura Loomer, once after a report came out of the number of migrants that had tragically died in like boat capsizing events in the Mediterranean, said that she would cheer when thousands more had died. She said, we should feed the alligators 65 million meals, referencing the insanely inflated number that she thinks there is of Latinos in America or whatever. So again, that is a level of advocacy and cheering, just love for violence that none of these people have expressed, and she hasn't lost her position. All the people who mocked Paul Pelosi, like, maybe it was a gay tryst or whatever that got his head bashed. None of them lost their jobs. You know why? Partially because no leftists were pushing for them to lose their jobs. There was no campaign, there was no website set up. It's only the right that does that sort of thing. It's grotesque, JR. I have more thoughts, but I want to give you a chance to get in.
Yeah, well, they don't lose those positions because that's their job. Their job is to foment that type of violence and that kind of rhetoric and to mock people's deaths and assaults that happen. As long as you're mocking and assaulting, mocking the deaths and assaults of people that they hate, that's what the apparatus is there for. I know later we're gonna talk about someone on Fox News who's also talking about open and mass murder of certain groups of people, but he's propped up by the president of the United States. So since the president of the United States is all about biases and direct orders against his political opposition, that somehow is the law now. It's weird that a 34-time felon wants to manipulate the law to then attack the people that he said always attacked him by presenting facts, going through due process, and him then being convicted of these things that he was then a 34-time convict of. It's weird though. I would love for them to let us know what laws were violated, because maybe they should pick up Trump himself, maybe a junior, and maybe even all of these conservative talkers and bloggers that did all those things you were just detailing and outlining, because that's like their standard. And then in response finally comes, the snowflakes get to fluttering all over the place. I refuse, bro.
Yeah, and by the way, look, so it's not just the Laura Loomers and all of that who for some reason have more political power than most representatives these days. Representative Clay, so Trump is supporting some sort of law to make being progressive online illegal or something like that. Clay Higgins, he put out this tweet. I'm not gonna read the entire thing, but graphic 6. He's saying that like if you posted something about Charlie Kirk that they don't like, you should not only be like lose your job, you should be banned from all platforms forever. Everyone. Again, the ones that haven't even been invented yet, you should be banned forever, okay? Bear in mind, they said that like Alex Jones being banned from Twitter for spending years making millions of dollars by like sending people to go harass the Sandy Hook parents, that was fine, get off their back about that. If you make a joke, if you post like an "I think you should leave" meme, then you should never be allowed to be on social media again, ever. And so here's the thing. This is all obviously utterly hypocritical. Everybody knows that. I saw a thing going around earlier today. It was Matt Walsh a couple of years ago saying like, if you want to claim to be for free speech, then you have to be of the position that no one can ever be fired for something they post on social media. And now obviously today he's pushing for people to be fired. And like that's obviously hypocritical. But bear in mind, he doesn't care. His job is not to be consistent. That's just not a value he has. The job is to exercise power or whatever. And so they can do that. They can have previously claimed to be for free speech and now they're not or whatever. They can get people fired, that's what they're getting. And so cheers for them for that. You know what you can't have though? You can't have the thing that you've tried to claim in the past couple of years about being like cool and edgy and we're for freedom, man. That's why like young people like us now. Cause the left is all woke scolds, man. You don't got that anymore. You can do this thing and you can get some like bakers fired or whatever. And all the young people are watching this and saying, oh, they are still lame old school Republicans. That's all they are. They didn't mean any of that stuff about free speech. Comedy was only legal for like 2 days or whatever. Now it's illegal again to the gulags with you. So yeah, have fun with firing these people that you've never heard of and will never think about again. But that whole like multi-year thing, which is oddly enough, that's like kind of what Charlie Kirk's career was to make the right seem more appealing to younger people, more fun, cooler, edgy and all that. They're all setting that on fire in their zeal to cancel a few people again that hold no political power. So congratulations for that. If you enjoyed that, make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming an actual member. But you're probably wondering, why the hell would I do that, John? First off, calm down. The stakes in this are very, very low. But also, when you click the join button and you become a member, you get access to bonus content that I make every week, and it's a ton of fun. You get access to tons of custom emojis and more besides that. By the way, if you join at tier 3, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself and other awesome people, and we always have a great time. By the way, you'll get all that going forward, but you also unlock years of the back catalog. That is literally 100 or more bonus clips, top 10 lists, debates, and more. What are you waiting for? Click the join button below. Your support powers our show, and we couldn't do it without you. Or at the very least, I wouldn't really want to try. Viewers like you keep me here. So thank you in advance for joining.